everybody. Welcome to Game Day View. This is the final week of the season. We've got a lot of football to talk about, but first I just want to say on Friday we got some incredible news about Damar Hamlin. What a week for football fans to go through. He's breathing on his own, which is amazing. He FaceTimed the team, got to tell them that he loves them. Man, it has been an emotional week. I want to start with you, Sin, because you spent a lot of time with the Buffalo Bills. This has been a rough week for everyone, but what has this week been like for you?
You know, it's interesting because I've been fortunate enough to communicate with a bunch of people on the team, and this is a team that's been through a lot of adversity this season. Obviously, nothing to this scale or magnitude that we've seen with Damar Hamlin, but they're really, they're kind of, you can feel this, love and family aspect where they're like, we get to now go out and win for him. We get to go, show our leadership skills and show how we dig deep and become this, really strong community that they've been through a lot this whole season. Mm-hmm. So this is something where they're, digging. It's a really good community. It reminds you that there's some good things that come from horrible situations. And the good thing that has come is the immense, embracing of just the football community for everyone. Every single team switched their logos to the number 3 strong for Damar Hamlin. All these positive things that happen to you. Remember that we get to play this game and we get to talk about this game, and we're fortunate to be here and do that. So you hear great leadership things coming out of their camp. I'm really impressed with the human beings on that team, from the players to Damar to his family to the GM to absolutely everyone. They've really come together and showed you what leadership is really about.
Yeah, this week, listening to players, you love hearing their perspective because they give up so much and they take so much risk to play this game that we get to cover. Mm-hmm. And you see that brotherhood and you see that love. Just to see the smiles on Josh Allen and the Bills players' faces being back at practice Thursday, it just makes you think of what the scene's going to be like on Sunday.
And people taking note, right? Because normally we think about trainers and it's when something goes wrong.
For sure.
But Denny Kellington is just, I want to join in and echo everybody that's shouting out his actions that saved a life.
Pretty amazing.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Brought him back. They started CPR immediately. Also the staff at UC Medical. It just goes to show. We saw the scenes in the stands from Bengals fans after the game.
Totally.
We saw the actions of both coaches on the field. The game didn't actually matter. The person is what started to matter, and that's what I appreciated so much.
All of the people that I talked to were every single Bengals fan stayed in there, and they were all praying. They stayed in the stands, and they were praying. And this is from the Bills people, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is, and they didn't have to say that. They didn't have to point out, how great the Bengals fans were and the fact that Zach Taylor's wife brought food to the hospital. It was just really amazing all the way around. And Sean McDermott, A+. Really.
I also love that Damar's first question when he woke up was, did we win the game?
I know.
He was
That's
still
amazing.
Focusing on that. Well, I think it's a good reminder that no day is promised. And with that, I love you guys. I love all of you guys. This season's been incredible.
Me too.
And let's get to some football, shall we? Well, actually, first things first. Greg, heavy is the head that wears the crown. You're feeling a little bit too comfortable with that lead, huh? Everyone made up a lot of ground last week, and with only a handful of picks left, suddenly we got ourselves a ball game, people. Are you feeling nervous?
I mean, that's why I talked my talk last week. You do it while you can, because it might not last.
All right, well, Greg, a huge game for the team of ATN. This is America's team, people, Detroit Lions. In a Week 18 finale, can they go into Lambeau and keep the Packers out of the playoffs?
I feel like the entire season has been building to this game, to this moment, to this pick of me taking the Lions to win this game.
Let's go, baby!
23-20. Look, this was a week where I could talk about the great running game that the Lions have, and they will run all over the Packers, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams. But I want to just talk about kind of the attitude that the Lions players have. Deshaun Elliott, the safety of the team, on Friday, really speaking, I think, what a lot of us believe. The way Aaron Rodgers carries himself, I don't like none of that. Me neither, Deshaun, and I love the way the Lions carry themselves, and this group has. This has really been a group endeavor. Let's look back a couple weeks right before the Lions lost the big game. And people are saying
this picture.
It was our fault that they lost this game. No. I think as a group, if we truly believe in the Lions, you got to pick them this week. You know what I mean? It's tough.
If you truly believe in the Lions, you probably should pick the Lions this week. But we'll get to that in a second. Patrick,
what a way to get into. I've got the Packers winning this game. I do, and mainly because the Packers were not playing good football. they were playing bad football. This is the start of the Lions' push to the postseason, and Aaron Rodgers was turning the ball over, 2 interceptions in the red zone in the first half. The drive summary from the first half was 32 plays, 196 yards, and 3 turnovers. They're not playing this bad anymore. And even when they were playing this bad, the Lions kind of eking things out. And when I've got the Packers here, 26-23. I believe in Detroit, and I believe they will try extra hard, but it's just Aaron Rodgers is like that because he wins all the time. It's not.
He's petty like that.
But it's because he's good.
Okay, I'm kind of nervous for this next one.
Why would you ever give Aaron Rodgers any sort of bulletin board material? You know he's reading that, and you know he's going to throw like 2 touchdowns right over the top of Deshaun Elliott. But I do have the Packers winning this game 28-21.
Not even staying within 4.5.
What a bomber. I tried, America.
Listen, I'm not sorry. It's not my fault.
We want the Lions to win.
I would like the Lions to win. They're just not going to. Jeff Okudah, he showed up on the injury report, but I'm going to give a little love to Jared Goff because Jared Goff not turning the football over has been a really remarkable and great thing for this team. You talk about the run game. I heard you say it, Greg. And the run game means you can use play action. And you know what happens when you can use play action? You don't throw interceptions if you're Jared Goff. You know, since week 10, that's the best touchdown to interception ratio over that time span. So I'm going to give him some flowers here. Congratulations, Jared Goff. That is a nice, solid performance from you for a long time. I'm into that. Hey, they're just not going to win the game.
I am giving the Lions their flowers. I'm giving them every single one of them as a flower of their own.
So convincing. 1 point.
Lions 27-26. Well, because I feel like they're not going to make it easy. They're not going to make it a chill day for Cynthia. We're all going to be stressed out about it. But really, I was thinking about how far the Lions have come this year, and I found a clip from last November of when I was on GMFB, and they had not won a single game yet. Take a look at this.
Tears, please. A little quicker next time, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, you didn't even open them?
I do what I
Oh my God. Okay. Can I get a type?
Go on in. She wants to type.
Can I get a type? Don't do it for us. The media. What do we know? Do it for yourselves. Do it for Detroit. Go out and get yourselves a win.
And the message is still the same today. Just get one more.
Yeah. Do it for my picks. Do it for that crown.
Do it for Greg and I.
Do it
So
for
we can be
Cynthia.
right. Do it for Cynthia.
Cynthia actually is invested.
Come on, Lions. Let's go. Okay, on to the next one. Jalen Hurts has been limited in practice this week. We haven't seen him on the field the last 2 weeks after he suffered a shoulder injury in Week 15 against the Bears. For the 3rd consecutive week, the Eagles can clinch the #1 seed with a win. Time for the drive to excellence presented by Mercedes-Benz. Greg, people talk a lot about teams getting hot at the right time heading into the playoffs. What's that word? It starts with an M. Patrick hates it. Momentum.
Ooh, we don't believe in
The
that.
Eagles do not have that right now. But can they turn things around and get this win?
Yes, I think they will. I think Jalen Hurts is going to play in this game. We don't know for sure as we're taping this, but it was trending that way. And I think the Eagles are going to stomp out this Giants team 33-13. And we're looking at pictures from the last time these two teams played. You know what the score was then? 48-22. It was like the Kevin Durant Warriors going against some G League team. And you might think like, oh, that was a long time ago. Like there was a different point in the season. It was less than a month ago. These two teams are not remotely close. The Giants have nothing to play for. I think a lot of backups are going to be in for the Giants. The Eagles might not even need to keep Jalen Hurts in to the very end of this game because they're going to win by so much.
I actually think that they won't keep Jalen Hurts in until the end of this game. I have 28-19. And that's why I want to talk about Miles Sanders, because I think they keep him in until the end of the game. They got to figure out some stuff. Missing some pieces on the O-line right now. And Miles Sanders, they got to keep it from turnovers happening, right? They got to make sure that this going into the playoffs, you know, whatever you want to talk to with momentum. But the reality is they've got to get more reps where they don't have any, they're turnover-free reps, because that's going to be the key to this postseason in the NFC. So that's going to be a point of emphasis. And I think Miles Sanders, if you're playing DFS, gets lots of shares of that because it's going to be a fun game for him.
That's a fun game, I think, for everybody involved because, as Mike Garafolo reported, the Giants may not necessarily be 100% invested into.
And they shouldn't be.
And why would they be?
No.
Because Brian Daboll is a rational person who doesn't believe that they need positive vibe points going into the playoffs. And honestly, I also think that Brian Daboll is a very good football coach, which is why 14 points feels like an awful lot to me. If the Eagles do get ahead, then they should absolutely shut down Jalen Hurts and get him ready for a chance to rest in the bye. 25-18 Eagles for me.
You know what? Justice for positive vibe points is all I have to say. I think vibes are important. Momentum is important. Philly has not a lot. Jalen Hurts has zero momentum because he has sat out the last few weeks. This is what Fletcher Cox said this week. We did this to ourselves, putting themselves in this position. So we got to dig ourselves out of it and get back to winning football. We lost 2 in a row, something we haven't done all year. Maybe we needed another reality check, and the truth is now we have it. I still have the Eagles winning, but it's a closer game, 24-20, because I cheer for end of the season chaos. I just want a little
You need
spice.
that 1 seed. That's
I
important.
just want a little spice in my day, okay? So there you go. All right, NFL Plus is here, which means no matter where you are, this is how you football. You can stream live, local, and primetime games on your phone or tablet. 45-minute game replays with NFL Plus Premium and more. This is the NFL for every fan. This is football freedom. This is your game on the go. Go to plus.nfl.com and sign up now. Someone get this man a quarterback. It will be Joe Flacco versus Skylar Thompson in Miami on Sunday.
Get excited.
Let's enjoy these shots of a happy Robert Saleh because we might not see a whole lot of joy from either sideline this weekend. That's one.
This man a win.
Hey, welcome back. Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern gets set for kickoff with NFL Game Day morning. Kurt Warner breaks down what to expect from Jalen Hurts in his return as the Eagles look to lock up the number 1 seed. Irv goes one-on-one with 49ers tight end George Kittle Sunday at 9 a.m. Oh yeah, and then we'll be there. We will also be there doing the talking. Also on Sunday, teams throughout the NFL will have several options to demonstrate support for Damar Hamlin. They can outline the 3 on the 30-yard line in either red or blue. There will be shirts in support of Damar, and the Bills will wear number 3 patches on their jerseys. Sin, it'll be an emotional day for everyone, I'm sure, but particularly in Buffalo as they take on the Patriots.
Yeah, I think this game will come down to, I talked about the leadership before. Well, I'm going to talk about their leadership there. I think it's going to be a nice big win for the Bills, 24-14. But I think Josh Allen, it's a particularly important day for this guy. He's such a leader off of the field. He's clearly the leader on the field as well. When you see those deep passes he completes to Stephon Diggs, this is going to be something that they're going to focus on heading into the playoffs, kind of get that connection back because this is a secondary that has been very targetable and very vulnerable. So I think they're going to have a nice few featured kind of big, deep plays for Diggs and probably even Gabe Davis as well. But this is going to be a game where they're going to come out especially, motivated to, I think probably 3 touchdowns for, they're going to really make sure and do some great stuff for the 3.
I just feel like the atmosphere there is going to be unlike anything.
It's the most amazing atmosphere, and that's before you add in all this stuff. Like, it's incredible.
It's just going to be like a celebration for Damar, and hopefully Damar can be watching on TV. That's incredible. And then when I think about what's going to happen on the field and the way these two teams have matched up the last 2 years, there's just not any reason to believe the Patriots offense can compete with this Bills defense. So this Bills defense, all the players that have played with Damar Hamlin the last couple of years and have played fantastic throughout this season despite some big injuries, Von Miller and Micah Hyde, they're going up against Mac Jones in this offensive line, which is struggling. I actually think Mac Jones has not been the problem, and the offensive line has been a huge problem, and the timing of the offense is a problem. And when you get pressure on Mac Jones, bad things happen. I expect a lot of bad things to happen for this Patriots offense.
But the good things, of course, we mentioned it, right? The outpouring of support that we won't just see in Buffalo for this game, but we're going to see it league-wide. It's going to continue, and hopefully Damar is able to experience that. But Greg mentioned this Patriots offense. They did something last week better than they've done all season long, and that is complete passes into the end zone. It actually happened finally in
This was on your radar.
This was on your radar.
They were completing in the 10s in terms of completion percentage into the red zone. Now, after week 17, it's 26%. They're not last in the league anymore. They're now 27th. So congratulations to Matt
They must have
Patricia.
taken like no attempts before, because if they could go from
they
10 to
had some
26,
attempts. I was watching.
They had some. They didn't all work out, but now they can do that. They could score just a little bit, but not enough. I have the Bills winning 25-20, and this new look, Matt Patricia sling it in the end zone offense.
Yeah, I'm with you, Patrick. I had a closer win, but the more that I think about it, the Bills just have so much to play for in this game. This is probably going to be the most electric atmosphere that we've not only seen this year, but in the past few years. Buffalo Bills fans come out for any old game, but this one in particular I think is going to be huge. Bills by 10 plus. I'm changing my score. Bills win big for their guy this weekend, and I can't wait to see. All right, it is time for quick picks. Patrick, it hasn't been pretty for the Ravens the last few weeks. Can they get a win heading into the playoffs?
I would like them to, but I do not think it is going to happen. I think the Baltimore Ravens fall 26-19 to the Cincinnati Bengals, because the last time out they did hold Jamar Chase to 7 catches for 50 yards. I do not think that happens this time around, because Joe and Jamar are playing spectacular football. I think they go up and down the field, and this Ravens offense is really struggling, as they always have when number 8 is not on the field.
The Bengals. All right, Cynthia, the other game in the AFC North. I actually kind of love this game. Browns-Steelers. Does Mike Tomlin somehow finish the season with a winning record?
he pulls off the miracle.
Let's go.
The rabbit comes out of
Come
the hat.
on.
Again, I mean, look, this
Look
Browns
at that.
defense, things seem to be going great there. Jadeveon Clowney not playing, but who knows what's going on there. Just means good things for Najee Harris, who I have having a very strong game again in this one. The Steelers' O-line is not my favorite O-line in the league. They don't rate anywhere near the top of the league, but Najee Harris erases a lot of problems that they cause, and I like watching his evolution. It seems like he's gotten healthier as the season's gone on. I think next season, this is a guy who's going to be like primed for being one of your top 5 fantasy picks.
Greg, Jets, Dolphins. This is crazy. These teams were a combined 15-7 at one point. They are 0-10.
That just sounds so.
What has happened?
I don't know a lot of injuries.
All of the things.
A lot of things have happened. But I think the Dolphins win this game. If the results that we've picked on this show happen, then the Dolphins go to the playoffs if they can get a win. If they don't, then the Steelers could wind up getting this last AFC
spicy.
slot. But I think it's the Dolphins. It's Skylar Thompson versus Joe Flacco. Only one of those two quarterbacks has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle to throw to. And I think with a week to prepare, Skylar Thompson has had to come into these games halfway through and hasn't always looked great. But with a week to prepare, I think Skylar Thompson gets it done.
I'll point out here, we do have more points. We all think it's going to be a relatively high-scoring game compared to
And pretty
what
close.
other people think. So,
By the looks of everything.
Yeah.
Greg,
We
it's
don't
the
know
last
what's
week of the season. One more Waddle on the way out.
please.
One more Waddle.
I mean, nobody was asking for that. Just stand. I can't even stand. I'm
Wow,
locked
okay,
in.
so
I'm
seated,
locked in.
seated.
Your face looks incredible.
You know what, America? I'm
doing
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for making you guys watch that. All right, coming up, some people probably thought the 49ers could be the 1 seed when the season began. Nobody thought they'd be doing it with Brock Purdy at quarterback. Can Brock stay unbeaten heading into the postseason? Good news. He's got the Cardinals.
I just tried to stand up. It's like, nope, you're.
Put it in my vein.
Yeah.
He's got ice in there.
Yep.
It's not safe.
And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the journey. And Broncos country, let's ride. So I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I'm grateful for Broncos country, and let's ride. For Broncos country, let's ride.
What a beautiful thing we were all gifted this year.
Does he only have one tie? Like, does he only have one orange tie?
I don't know.
Poor James
was a
Palmer.
big
though,
day.
you
Let's
know?
ride to the tie shop, shall we? Well, it feels like ages ago, but alas, Russell's first season as a Broncos almost come to a close. Greg, will they ride into the offseason with a dub?
I think they will, with the help of the Cincinnati Bengals and Brandon Staley. And I have the Broncos winning 23-15, but there's a caveat here. I think the Bengals win early, the Ravens lose. That means the Chargers are locked in to their seeding. And Brandon Staley has talked about being smart about who he's going to play if they have nothing to play for. So that's Justin Herbert. That's Keenan Allen. I think, there's Keenan Allen. I think we have some Mike Williams in here. There's other great players, Joey Bosa, Derwin James. These are all the types of players I don't think the Chargers
starters.
will be playing. Like the best players, the Chargers, the stars.
The good ones.
The reason why they're in there. And if they're not playing, I think the Broncos, who have looked a little better lately, will wind up winning this game.
I reserve the right to switch my pick on Sunday because of those same things, but I'm going to go with very similar, 24-22. I have the Chargers winning right now, but that's because I don't know about this whole, the permutations of Ravens and Bengals yet. So right now, I have Austin Eckler as someone that you need to keep an eye on because I do think that if some of these starters do play and the best players do play, then Austin Eckler will absolutely be a huge factor in this one. You can run on the Broncos defense. I think that they're going to, if they are going to play for real, for keeps, because they need to, this will be something where 24-22, a slight win. I do think that the Broncos keep it a little bit closer, though, because I do think it will be a pared down game, even if they need it full.
I reserve the right to support the Broncos offense. Let's ride, baby, because honestly, the Broncos have scored 24 or more points in 3 of the last 4 games.
That's
like,
fair.
That's not much. They never hit that number at all in the first 13 weeks of the season.
That's wild.
So yeah, Alberto, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, get them in there. If you're doing some daily, why not? The number's not going to be that high for any of these guys because they're the Broncos, but they've just been better as of late, and I think that they win this game 26-23. Permutations or no permutations?
It's so crazy. I feel like the entire season we were like, this offense is struggling. The defense is the only thing that's keeping them in this game. Broncos defense has been allowing an average of over 31 points the last 4 weeks. The offense may be improving with Russell Wilson, but I think that the Broncos defense and just the whole team will beat themselves. I am taking a big Chargers win, 27-17, whether their starters are playing or not. Okay, next up, Texans Colts. Oh boy, the battle for draft picks. The winner of this game kind of loses. Texans secure the first overall pick with a loss. Both these teams currently they're picking in the top 5. Both of them probably spending more time scouting college QBs than the opponent. Greg, I'd ask who wins, but a win is really a loss, like I just said. So after 4 quarters, who has more points?
Yeah, I'm amazed we're talking about this game so early, but our producer likes conflict, and I think we disagree a lot. And so I'm going to show you a video of Bryce Young because I think he's going to be the guy the Texans lose out on because they win this game. I have the Texans winning. And I also imagine Lovie Smith, and I don't know if they're going to keep Lovie Smith or not. I hope they keep Lovie Smith, but if they don't, I'd like to think this will be the going away present that Lovie Smith gives this organization that has run through coaches who didn't exactly cover themselves in glory in the Deshaun Watson Mets, and they will miss out on Bryce Young because the Texans are playing better football overall than the Colts over the last month. Their point differential is better. They've gotten a win. They've been competitive against good teams.
I'm worried about my Packers pick now after all those Jameson Williams highlights on the Bryce Young tape. So maybe the Lions are a bit of a change in my head. But honestly, I would like to show a video as well. And that is this Colts offense. Let's talk about it before I get to the pick because Nick Foles in the first quarter of Week 17 hit Paris Campbell for 49 yards. This is 21% of the Colts passing offense in the last 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
Comes from this play.
Wow.
This 49-yarder. So we got a few angles on it. Here's a field level look from the backside. We switch to the other side. This is it. This is the Colts offense. I am taking the Houston Texans and Lovie Smith to not have the number 1 overall pick, 24-16, because the Colts are bad.
Well, unfortunately, Nick Foles won't even be there, so that's very difficult, too. I'm actually taking the Colts in this one, 19-17. I think the Colts get the run game going with Zach Moss, the former Buffalo Bill. I think that's going to be a big deal against this Texans defense that has allowed just absolutely tons and tons of rushing yards all season long to the running back position, to other positions that then they line up in the backfield. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I get it, Sam Ehlinger, we got it. It's very confusing. I'm not going to try to pass on this team. Just run the football. Zach Moss has so much heart. He was in the Buffalo Bills sidelines when ahead of the preseason. Remember, he got traded mid-season. I think they just say, hey, kid, go run, and Jeff Saturday gets a win.
Weird things happen in the last game of the season. Do you guys remember the Colts game against the Jags?
Yes.
All they had to do was win, and they're in. And they didn't win. So I do have the Colts winning this game, not by a lot. Same with Sin, 17-14. But I can see the Texans pulling out a weird, painful win in this one. The latter half of this season, they had close games with KC. They had close games with the Cowboys that we were all like, what is going on? I don't know. Maybe something's working with the Texans. I can totally see this flip-flop, but I'm going to go Colts for now. Just wishful thinking for Texans fans. All right, quick picks. Cynthia, Rams, Seahawks. first time that they played a couple of weeks ago, this was a very fun game. Seattle can still sneak into the playoffs. They're favored by 6 on Sunday. What do you like?
Yep, I think that
Go
Cam
Gino.
Akers is going to be good, but I think this is going to be the Seahawks, so it will render the Lions and Packers score irrelevant. So I'm looking at Cam Akers, though, and I will say for your fantasy purposes, you should absolutely play him. The Seahawks have been vulnerable to the run as well. It's also pretty much the only thing we can kind of count on from this past few weeks of what we've seen from the Rams. And thank you, Rams. And actually, the Seahawks are being really nice to the Lions in this case, even though they're kicking them out of the playoffs, because the draft pick situation. Remember, the Lions get the Rams draft pick. So in reality, the Lions win both ways. We get a better
And you know
draft
what? The
pick.
Lions, even
Positive
if they're
thinking.
knocked out, they're going to knock out the Packers. They're not going to
I like that the league's banking on Dan Campbell, not
packing it in.
being a meathead. I mean, we're going to play.
We love
we
it.
need caffeine. Fight kneecaps.
All right, Greg, the other game in that division, Cardinals-Niners. FanDuel likes the 49ers by 14.
I like them by 24, if I did the math right. 37-13. This could be a game where you get Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel in the lineup early, get a big lead. They'll be motivated. And yes, Deebo Samuel hasn't played in about a month, and I think they'll want to get some action for him before the playoffs start. But the Cardinals are so bad right now, so banged up, that I think you could wind up sitting your starters. The 49ers are still trying to play for seeding, but you get a big lead, and your backups in San Francisco can still win this game easy.
They'd want to play Debo for what?
Yeah, playing for a quarter or two.
Momentum or something crazy? Is that what you wanted to say? Interesting. NFL Knockout presented by Caesar Sportsbook is a free-to-play game on NFL.com.
Woo!
Win an exclusive VIP trip to experience the 2023 Pro Bowl, the 2023 NFL Draft, or Super Bowl 57
Lions country.
weekly. Answer 10 questions about Sunday's games and top the leaderboard to win a trip of a lifetime. Visit NFL.com/knockout to sign up, play, and win. Let's go! Okay, the Bucs could play all 3 quarterbacks against the Falcons on Sunday, so get used to shots like this of Tom Brady on the sideline. The man is 45 years old. He's not here for Week 18 football. Someone get this man a chair. Don't go anywhere.
Want to stay up to date on the playoff race? Just tell Siri, show me football standings.
All right, welcome back to Game Day View. Greg, the Bucs are locked into the 4 seed in the NFC. They will host the Cowboys next week as things currently stand. Do they care at all about beating the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday, or will everyone and their mother be sitting on the bench?
I mean, I care. We care about this result. I think
more
they
football.
will care. I'm taking the Bucs to win this game 24-20 because of what we saw last week with Tom Brady and Mike Evans. It took 17 weeks to get there, but they're back. They can do it. They can still do it. It's like Bill Parcells said once when they won this Super Bowl, for the rest of your life, then, no one can tell Tom Brady and Mike Evans that they can't do it because they did it. And for the rest of this season, I think they could rack up some yards, and I think Tom Brady said he wants to play for most of this game, and I know there's talk about Kyle Trask and maybe Blaine Gabbert. I think the Bucs backups are good enough that they might be able to hold on to a lead and win this game anyways.
Yeah, there's so many in these no situation games.
Right.
Some guys give us lip service and they say, well, every game's important. That's what Tom said this week. I believe it when Tom says it because he demonstrates it over and over that he likes this game maybe a little bit more than everybody else does. Maybe a little too much, as Greg says. I think the Bucs win this game 26-19 because the defense has actually been playing well against teams on the ground in 2 out of their last 3 games. They kept teams under 100 yards rushing. They solved the unsolvable riddle of Sam Darnold late season, like nobody else has been able to last week. I think the defense is going to grind out a win, and Tom is, whether it's Dallas or anybody, they're going to have a tough trip to Tampa next week.
I like what you're saying there, but I don't think they play their starters for the entire game. I have Atlanta winning this game by a pretty healthy margin, 24-18. I want to talk about Tyler Algier. We absolutely know that Arthur Smith is going to run the football. I mean, it's like he's almost reached Pete Carroll levels of are they going to run? Yeah, yeah, they're definitely going to be running on this one. And Algier has been really, really good, especially outside the tackles, which is where you just saw him run there. This has been a team that has had a lot of wonky things happen, but I think this is a nice way for them to go into the postseason with a win here. Nice, strong running situation. They'll have to figure out a lot of things this offseason, including quarterback, but they don't need to figure out Tyler Algier. That was a great draft pick for them.
I was with you, Sin. I had the Falcons going into this game, but I just changed my pick about 10 minutes before the show started, and my producers loved it. They said, thank you for doing this. We love it when this happens. 24-17, I am taking the Bucs, and it's because Tom Brady said, I have never missed a game in my life. Except for that time I got hurt, and then except for the other time I got suspended. But other than that, I've never missed a game in my entire life.
Oh, he didn't get prime number. Where's my little thingy?
He is sticking with it. He's playing in this game for as much as he can. The grand scheme of things with Tom Brady in this season, he has been through a lot. You think he's going to be sitting out of a game with everything that he's been through to play football this year? I don't think so.
I don't like that Cynthia has the 4.5-point favorite.
Prime number, baby. There you go.
This is a dance for it.
Oh,
it's not a waddle.
That's the prime number, Dan?
Uh-huh. Yep.
All right, time for quick picks for a third time. Okay, buckle up. Patrick, the Vikings are 5.5-point favorites on the road. How do you feel about Nathan Peterman keeping it close?
I don't feel good about it at all. 5.5 points is not enough because I think it's 26-17 because we're glad that he's going to be safe. We hope Justin Fields is healthy.
Yes.
But let's look back at a season that was almost the greatest rushing season by a quarterback in the history of the NFL.
Wow.
Nathan Peterman's not doing any of this. And it's funny that Tyrod Taylor is probably going to get a lot of play because I remember a time Nathan Peterman famously started instead of Tyrod Taylor and it went horribly. Hasn't started a lot of games since then. And I don't think it's going to go well for the Bears, considering that Justin Fields has done this with Equanimous St. Brown as his number one receiver. 26-17 Vikings.
Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings coach, did mention Friday that they might rest some of their starters after playing. So
Final week's a little bit funky. You got to kind of wait it out to see who's going to be playing. Greg, a game that means nothing to either team except for the head coaches, Panthers Saints. Who do you like?
Yeah, I think this could be big for both head coaches. I have the Panthers winning this game. I can't believe we all do. I'm just looking at the graphic.
Oh, wow.
24-23. The Saints are favored in this game. Let's give a little love to Sam Darnold and Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a big believer and try to someone that supports mid-level starting quarterbacks. Like, average starting quarterbacks are hard to find. And I got to say, I think Sam Darnold's made the jump to an average or better than average starting quarterback down the stretch. Andy Dalton is finding open receivers. He's not making mistakes. If they had the defense they thought, Andy Dalton and the Saints team would have 10 wins so far. What was it? Sam Darnold, career high in win shares, according to Cynthia.
Someday I hope that you say that I've now ascended to be at least middle.
Yeah.
At least average. Someday that would be a nice compliment.
I mean, I wish I could ascend to average in a career where average gets you about $15 million a year. Yes,
Yeah,
it's an achievement.
nice.
More than that.
Good
Well, I mean,
he hasn't been average in the
That's a good
past.
point.
You are above average in the backhanded compliment division.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold just caught an absolute direct shot for his
Astray.
Haven't they exceeded expectations? Hasn't he improved to average?
Yes, Sam Darnold is much better than Baker Mayfield. We have settled that.
How dare you? We don't need to say that. Sam, the Cowboys will be scoreboard watching this weekend. Are you worried about what Sam Howell is going to do to this defense?
Oh, I'm terrified about what. No, I'm not worried at all. I have the Cowboys. I think we all have the Cowboys here pretty big.
wins.
I have a 10-point win. And as much as I think they'll be scoreboard watching, I still think their run game is great. I just want to give a little love to Tony Pollard, who's had an epic season.
Yeah.
Whatever team he's on next season, and I don't even know if it can be the Cowboys. I don't know what their cap situation will be like, but somebody has to pay this man. He is very, very, very good. He changes everything for your team. He's explosive. He earns yards after the catch, yards after contact. He is a difference maker. And for me, pay Tony Pollard.
Someone will. There's a lot of good free agent running backs available. Saquon Barkley will be out there as well. And people like to pretend running backs don't matter. It matters when Tony Pollard's not in the lineup. They are significantly worse when he is not in the lineup.
And it frees Zeke up to do more, like score touchdowns in 8 consecutive games. The offense is just better. Cynthia says it. Greg says it. I'll say it as well. Pay everybody. It's not your money. Like, stop lobbying for people to not get paid.
Sin turned into like the ghost of Tony Pollard's Christmas future. Pay Tony Pollard.
Pay Tony Pollard.
Launching all of the owners.
And someday we'll talk about running backs mattering because they do matter. Just you got to be careful. There's a little asterisk there for
We get it.
analytics
Ezekiel
people.
Elliott,
It's a
that's
thing.
not the contract you want to give.
No.
Okay, Okay, guys, the NFL playoffs are almost here. Witness the most exciting part of the season live, in person. 14 teams, 12 games, 3 weeks. Don't miss your chance to be part of your team's journey to Super Bowl 57, which is so close. It is right around the corner. Tickets to all playoff games are available now. Take your seat. Visit NFL.com/tickets to purchase your tickets today.
I'll never forget how I felt in that locker room after the game. That was our 5th loss in a row. That flipped a switch in me. I have a little bit more of a chip on my shoulder now. I just want to be the player that I know I can be.
Lawrence, he's got it for a touchdown.
What a throw by Trevor Lawrence.
Touchdown, Jacksonville. How good is that?
What a throw, what a drive, what a game by Trevor Lawrence.
Has a man. Jones is open. He's got it.
That's a franchise quarterback if I've ever seen one.
Let's go to overtime. Prescott throws in. Intercepted. Rashad Jenkins is going to win it.
I'm proud of the situation we put ourselves in. It wasn't easy to get in this spot, especially the way we started the season.
They've emptied this stadium, and the Jags are going to win again. They were 2-6. They're now 8-8.
Feels good to be in a big-time game like this. Just, the city has a lot of energy, and everybody's excited.
They control their own destiny. They play the biggest home game in a long, long time next week.
All right, listen, I wanted to break down this game, but I feel like that the slow-mo shot of Trevor Lawrence walking through the rain, he is scoring 1,000 points this week. We don't even need to talk about this game anymore. All right, the winner of Titans-Jags is hosting a playoff game next weekend. Cynthia, Jacksonville has won 4 in a row. Are they the AFC South champs? By the way, you called this way back. You said this game is going to matter big time.
I think they win 5. I think they make it all the way. I love what Trevor Lawrence is doing, especially when he's able to use play-action passes. So obviously, when you look at the strength of this Tennessee defense, it is the front, so bringing pressure, and they are missing one of their tackles, a very, very, very big man, Cam Robinson. It's a big problem. However, I think the way that they'll be able to craft some interesting play action, that is what Doug Peterson does. He makes the quarterback better by spreading the ball around, by having really creative looks ahead of the snap to help the quarterback be able to decipher what the defense is doing, and then they can target the back end of that Tennessee defense, which is very vulnerable, giving up the most yards in the league. That is how this game is won.
I agree with you. I have the Jaguars winning this game. I have it a little closer, 1 point closer, but that's a key point, 19-13. I think the Titans end up threading the needle and that this is a low-scoring, more of a defensive game, that Trevor Lawrence makes enough big plays against this Titans secondary. But keep in mind, Christian Fulton returning for this game. Amani Hooker returning. 2 of the starting defensive linemen for the Titans are returning. Mike Vrabel's been game planning for this game for 2 weeks. So the difference in quarterback, and we're looking at Lawrence, who can make plays out of structure with his legs, even when the defense has a good plan against him, will be the difference in the Jaguars winning. But I think they're going to have to really earn it. I think you'll see the Titans show up in this game and show all that experience, and it'll just be a little bit more of a thread the needle type of win.
Yeah, I've got a needle threading as well.
Wow.
It's the tin box of cookies where the needle and the thread are in there. There's no cookies in there.
Needle didn't thread it.
Just a little threading at the needle, because the Titans, they've been here before. Derrick Henry has given the Jags so many problems over the course of the years, but ultimately the difference here is this Titans pass defense that Cynthia mentioned, the last ranked in the entire NFL. And Zay Jones and Trevor Lawrence have been spectacular down the stretch. It was a lot of Christian Kirk earlier in the season, but the Jags' number 1 on the outside going against top corner has been it's been Zay Jones. And I just can't discount that as much as I think that the Titans have a chance. 2 weeks of preparation matters. Derrick Henry being healthy and rested matters, but when you can't stop anybody passing the ball, I can't pick you.
Remember what everyone made fun of Zay Jones' signing and Christian Kirk signing? People like myself in the football cognoscenti?
Call yourself out.
We were wrong. Zay Jones, what a signing.
Yep.
I mean, I'm waiting to see what Rachel picks, because this is one where at least one of us needs to pick the Titans.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, do it.
Titans are clawing themselves out of what 6-loss hole? They're not gonna.
This is where Mike Vrabel wins. Like, he does something magic, and a rabbit comes out of that.
Yeah, change.
I can't. I have to go by the model.
It's the model. Oh yeah.
Blame
it's all
the
the model's
model.
fault. That's why I've never picked the Lions. It's the model.
Kidding. We love and respect the model, and we always will. But
I'll
I
be
am
over
going
here.
Jags 27-21. We talked about the Titans passing defense. What about the Jags defense? They've held their last 2 games 6 points total. They have totally shut down the last 2 teams. I'm going Jags 27-21. We love the model. Can I just say we all love the model?
We love it.
The model's
Especially
probably,
when it
the
becomes
model is
central.
probably watching. Yeah. We love the model.
We
Model's
love the
great.
model. It's never been wrong.
Patrick, the other game on Saturday is Raiders-Chiefs. Chiefs clinch the 1 seed with a win. All that's standing in their way is Jarrett Stidham.
And it's standing in my way, too, because I would like to issue an apology to Josh McDaniels and Jarrett Stidham for doubting you in the matchup against the #1 total defense in the NFL. It was incredible to see what they were able to do with the quarterback making his first start of the season. And looking back to this earlier game between the Chiefs and the Raiders, they were able to hold Devontae Adams to 3 catches. The problem is it was 3 catches for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think Devontae has a decent game. And that's how they get 17 points, but 32 points for KC, not super close.
Right? What are you laughing at?
Your score.
Oh, yeah, 42-28.
Explain yourself.
I love points in this game. Jarrett Stidham is an unstoppable
Calling it.
force of nature.
Come
I
on.
couldn't believe
What's
what he
his
did a
nickname?
week ago. That was one of the best performances
nickname?
out of nowhere I have ever seen.
What's his nickname?
Stiddy.
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 Getting that
Also,
Stiddy.
the Chiefs have had some very weird games, very close games that should not be close in the latter half of the
Oh, to be clear, I don't even have it close. I have the
Nope,
Chiefs with
you
a
don't.
40 burger because the Raiders are starting guys that they just signed a couple weeks ago.
There's that. Okay, coming up, we are writing this down. Something we are feeling really good about. Is it that guy?
No.
No. Is it that guy?
Yes.
Yes. Don't go anywhere. Write this down. It's coming up next.
What is that?
What is that celebration?
Really good celebration.
That was not good. Hey, welcome back to Game Day View. It is the best part of the show. This is something we are feeling really confident about, really good in. It is time for Write This Down. And I believe I am going to begin. And I feel so good about this. Okay, guys, I don't have tears, and I can't get emotional about this one. But, oh, man, Jared Goff is going to snap this weekend. Okay? Over 243.5 passing yards, Cynthia. 2+ passing touchdowns versus the Packers. I feel like they are feeling the energy of America behind them. Kneecaps, they're getting bitten. Okay? Caffeine, it'll be consumed. I love this. Go Lions, go. Greg?
I don't think the Packers are going to be ready. I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to be ready on Sunday. I'm going to go over 207.5 passing yards. I was shocked by this number against a great Steelers defense. It's awkward to talk about, but Deshaun Watson is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. I feel like this has gotten underplayed, that a guy who, granted, hasn't played in a couple years, but guess what? Jarrett Stidham hasn't played in a couple years. Like, Jacoby Brissett hasn't played in a couple years. He's shown almost no explosive plays whatsoever. And none of those guys are getting paid more than Patrick Mahomes.
Under.
Under.
Yeah, well, I'm going to talk about an over. I'm going to talk about Geno Smith also helping the Lions out. Big Lions fan, Geno Smith. He is going to throw for at least 2 touchdowns in this matchup against the Rams. I've been looking at where the Jalen Ramsey, DK Metcalf situations happen, and yes, they do line up against each other on 50% of snaps in their 7 meetings, but you know that other guy, Tyler Lockett, he should be playing.
Yep.
So we heard Pete Carroll say that, and I'm going to believe it. So I'm going to choose to say Ken Walker, monstrous game, and Tyler Lockett, monstrous game. Geno Smith, monstrous game.
This is the Cinderella story of the year. It's got to have a good end.
And he gives the Lions a better draft pick. So it's a win-win for me, you know?
Yeah, speaking of Cinderella stories, let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts. Remember?
No.
Jeff Saturday came out, and it was like, yeah, the Colts are... No, they were not. They were bad. They were bad on offense, and they continued to be bad. They gave up the biggest comeback in the history of the NFL, and somebody said they're going to score 20.5 points? No, that's not going to happen. They haven't scored 20.5 points in their last 10 quarters combined. It's just not going to happen.
Does have over
No.
Cynthia, this could be the last time we see the Lions. And this has been a big season for you. So just, you got 7 seconds.
I'm just happy that in week 18 they even matter. Week 18 Lions matter. Love you.
We love you,
matter.
Lions.
We love
Enjoy
the model,
football. See you
too.
next weekend.